Hi, I'm Mike Burrows, Agendashift founder. Welcome to the Agendashift Academy, to Leading with Outcomes and this foundation module. Well, what's Leading with Outcomes about? First of all, it's about conversations in strategy. Big picture, strategy review type conversations, but also those everyday conversations. Those that you have as a leader, as a coach, as a manager, or a contributor in an organization. Every day we are strategizing and you can have better conversations about that. Now, we are coming from somewhere quite specific, somewhere quite particular, quite distinct in Leading with Outcomes. And to help understand that, I'm going to ask you how you respond to these four words: obstacles, outcomes, outputs, solutions. Obstacles, outcomes, outputs, solutions. And we can understand very well understood, very well documented, very well formalized approach to change, popularized in the 1990s. Managed change, very solution-driven kind of change. Choose a solution, sell the solution based on the obstacles it will help overcome and the outcomes it will help achieve. Roll out the solution, live with the consequences, which may or may not include the outcomes you wanted, and almost certainly includes a legacy of the pain that you went through. Now, of course, this is slightly a caricature, but it's an effective caricature because, we've all seen it. We all know what it's like, and we all know the actually dismal record of this kind of approach to change. So we're coming from somewhere quite radically different to that. We ask the question, what if we put outcomes before solutions? Outcomes plural, outcomes such that different people might respond to different outcomes, but coherent with each other because they are grounded in reality, grounded in the obstacles that are in the way of what we really want. We've got people acting where they are motivated, generating different solution ideas, solutions plural, plentiful, coherent again because of how we've gone about this. And we have much more opportunity to learn as we go. Those small solutions, it doesn't hurt so much to try them. And at the end of any solution implementation, we can ask, well, was that the right solution? Or was that even the right outcome? Or are we focused on overcoming the right kind of obstacles and so on? A much more dynamic process than that managed change, that sort of project style approach to change. So that's where we're coming from. Let's look at Leading with Outcomes as a curriculum. We've got Leading with Outcomes Foundation first. That's where you are now. Inside Out Strategy, a two-part module looking at how we improve the experience and capability of the organisation. Outside In Strategy, when we look at how we improve the positioning of the organisation with respect to the outside world, customers, competitors, suppliers, and so on. How we better understand customer needs, how we meet them, and so on. And of course we need to bring those together. We need to bring capabilities and customer needs together, and we want to be a more resilient, more innovative, more effective organisation. And those deeper challenges of organisation, of organising, are what adaptive organisation is all about. Business agility at every scale, between spaces, scopes and scales. You can see a scale theme there. If you want to achieve anything significant, very often you have to work at multiple scales and you need different people engaged at different scales of the organisation. So that's to come. In general, what we're doing in all of these modules, we're looking at things that we'd like to change, things internal or things to do with our external relationships, things that we'd like to achieve. Both of those we could organise visually in some way. In Foundation, we're going to keep it simple and we're going to use a non-visual way of organising our strategy. And we'll take a quick look at objectives and key results, OKR, in other words, back to basics on objectives and key results. And from there, we can think about what we would like to try in terms of solutions. Solution ideas we can frame as hypotheses that we can test. We're going to guarantee that whatever happens, we're going to learn something, we're going to capture that learning, and we can feed that back into the strategy process. Now, to help us organise this stuff, and there's a lot of material here, 4 modules worth, but really some key patterns are all you need to remember and all you need to practice conversationally. On the left, ideal obstacles, outcomes, otherwise known as the I-do pattern. On the right, meaning, measure, method, which is about generating solution ideas, meaningful solution ideas that actually stand a chance of delivering what we really want, and connecting the two together, right to left, working backwards from key moments of impact and learning. Now, those patterns we've been developing on, working on, refining for the last 10 years or so. For the last 5 years or so, we've got a fourth pattern: engage, invite, celebrate. I won't say too much about that now because you're going to be seeing that quite soon. So let's look at the structure of Foundation. This is an overview of the Foundation module now, what you have in store. 4 sessions: leading in a wholehearted organisation, what just happened and why, developing strategy together, and pursuing strategy together. So in that first chapter, that first session, leading in a wholehearted organisation, you're going to just experience, you're going to taste that I-do pattern with a little bit of method as well. Ideal, obstacles, outcomes, and then method. We're not going to get too hung up on the tools that we're using, the structure that we're following, the patterns. You're just going to enjoy that conversation. And then we'll look more closely in the second session at that I-do pattern. How does it work? Why do we use it in the way that we do? What happens when you deviate from it? And so on. Chapter 3, developing strategy together. We're having a much more representative strategy conversation. A kind of conversation you might have in a strategy review. And I personally have facilitated strategy conversations for teams, for departments, for whole organisations, using the kind of tools that we'll be looking at here and in the other modules. Over on the right hand side, we're looking at how we test that strategy, how we generate solution ideas with meaning, measure, method, and with the help of the right to left pattern, how that feedback and learning happens, how the right hand side of this picture feeds back to the left, and so on. So you've got that to come, those 4 sessions, 4 chapters to come, and when you're ready, let's get started with leading in a wholehearted organisation.